up guys, welcome back to LeadFoot TV. Sorry it's a little bit dark. I am currently in my garage and I've got the door down because it's so windy outside, and when the door's open I'm just freezing my nuts up. So I'm going to try and work, I've got a little work light down there, so I'm going to try and work with the work light for a little bit just to stay a little bit warm. But yeah, today I'm going to, if you've seen my last video, you'll probably know what I'm about to do already. I'm going to start overhauling the suspension. So yeah, we've got arms and coilovers to go onto it. Basically the whole suspension is absolutely shagged on the car, so we're going to try and change as much as possible today. All the stuff is, I think all the stuff has arrived for the front, so I'm going to tackle the front today, and then we'll get it all sorted on the front and just start getting the car up to scratch a little bit. So yeah, I'll flip the camera around, I'll show you what we've got. So first thing is these arms. These are the bottom wishbones, I think. Yeah, bottom ones. So we've got full bottom wishbones, so it'll have new bushes on the end and the new ball joint as well. This is kind of why I didn't want to go poly bush, because all the arms are rotten as well. I thought, oh, screw it, let's just get some new arms. It's got new ball joints in it as well, and everything will just be nice and new. So yeah, we've got those. We've got the rear ones, the top ones as well. So these are the top wishbones. And yeah, I just treated myself to another Halford socket set that I can just keep in the garage. So basically before I had one at work, and I had one that was like kind of in my van or my car, depending what I was in, and then I was having to like bring it down here every time I wanted to use it. So I've got one specifically for keeping in the garage now. Came with a free screwdriver set, which was pretty cool. So a 30-piece screwdriver set. So that'll be handed down here at the garage as well. And yeah, the coilovers are in the boot. So yeah, the coilovers, I've got a max speeding rod coilovers. The reason I went for these is basically I've got so much more important stuff that I need to buy for the car at the moment. Like ideally I would have liked to go for some BCs, but I can't just justify it at the moment. So I bought these. I got them super cheap because there was like they were doing a discount, and then there was a Black Friday deal on eBay or something. I can't remember what it was, but I got money off on eBay. A lot of people rate them. There's a lot of reviews that people that don't like them, but my thinking was just if they last me a year until I can get some of the more important stuff sorted on the car, then I can get some BCs in a year. At the moment I'm just really wanting to get the rust and everything sorted, so spending 800 quid on a set of coilovers just isn't really my priority at the moment. So we're going to put these on. I've no idea what they'll be like. I've never used them before. They might be absolutely dreadful, but at the moment I have no shocks on the front. The shock absorber is absolutely shot. And there's all the bottom bushes. So these bushes down here have just totally disintegrated. There's basically no bush in there. It's just the collar floating around in the bottom, so it knocks like mad all over the place. So yeah, that's what we're going to do today. I'm going to start on the driver's side. Yeah, you can see how crusty and horrible it is in here. Yeah, the arch isn't actually too bad, but there's a hole up there right near the suspension, which is not very safe. So I need to get that sorted out as soon as I possibly can. But what I'm going to do today is strip all of this suspension down. So we'll get rid of these arms and put fresh ones on. I've also got some drop links kicking about somewhere that I bought ages ago. So hopefully we can I can dig those out and we'll stick some new drop links on too. And yeah, we'll just go through the whole thing and just put new everything on. You can see how knackered the bottom shock bush is there. It's absolutely goosed. So that is why we're putting those coilovers on. And yeah, well, the other arm is this big one at the bottom, so this big wishbone. So we'll change all of it. I'll go get some WD-40. We'll spray some WD-40 on the bolts just to try and unseize them a little bit. They look very crusty, so I think they're going to be a bit of a nightmare to get off, but we'll give it a go. Yeah, look at the state of them. Hopefully we can get them off, but we'll see. Yeah. split both ball joints, and I've dropped the bottom arm down. I've never actually done this on an MX5 before, so it is actually my first time taking this all apart. But I undid the bolts at the back of the wishbone, and they were really tight to get out. But if you get the nuts off either side, yeah, so there's a nut on that side and a nut on that side, it's easier to get them out while the ball joint's still in. But then when it's tight to get the bolts out still. But once you crack the bottom ball joint off and knock that out, I got it out with a ball joint splitter. The bolts just are really loose, so you can just pull them out. It's the easiest way to do it, and you've got like these little washers that are like special. Basically, they go on the bolt one way, and you can adjust the angle of the arm and stuff. So yeah, just make sure you don't lose those washers because you need them. And then yeah, you can just pull the bolts out once the arm's out. So this one should come out as well, hopefully. There we go, that one's out too. So yeah, that is that, and then that bottom arm should just pull off. You can see how knackered that is. I had to also cut the anti-roll bar drop link off because it was just spinning, but you can see how knackered the bushes are in the back of that. So yeah, and the arm's just absolutely rotten, like really rusty. So yeah, they definitely needed doing. So what we're gonna do now is get this top one off, which I think is going to be a little bit more awkward, because the bolt, I think by the looks of it, the bolt goes all the way through from one side to the other. Yeah, like I say, I've never done these before, so I'm not totally sure, but I think the bolt goes all the way through. And then once I've got that arm off, we can drop the shock out and just undo the bolts at the top under the engine bay, and then yeah, drop the shock out, and it's all clear. And then we'll start cleaning all this inner arch up. So I got the bolt out for the top arm. It's ridiculously long. I thought it was going to be an absolute nightmare to get out, to be honest, because I recently did a Alpha 156 one on a, yeah, it had a bolt, really long bolt like this that went through the bottom arm and the bottom of the shock, and it was an absolute nightmare to get out because it was so tight. But actually this wasn't that bad. It came out pretty easy. Once I cracked it off, it was turning nice and free, and it just pulled out by hand. So yeah, that's out, and it means that top arm is loose now. Obviously it's got a bar behind here, so that arm can't actually physically come out without the shock coming off at the same time. So we'll pop the bonnet now. Sarah's in there playing Call of Duty. Can you pop the bonnet? Are you in? Oh, it's open anyway. Ooh. Yeah, now all we need to do is drop the shock out, which is, I think, just those two nuts. So this 14 and that 14 as well. So loosen them off, and then it all should just drop out and be out of our way. So those top shocks bolts are out now, so that whole unit should just pop out. It's a bit awkward because the anti-roll bar's in the way. There we go. There we go, so they're out. That bracket's just cable tied onto the ABS sensor. So we've got that. There's like a little plastic gasket for the top. As you can see, it has been lowered on lowering springs. So yeah, you can see the state of the shock bushers on the bottom. They're absolutely knackered. Literally nothing left of them. So that is why it's been knocking so bad on the front, because almost every single bush is gone on the front. You can see in there, it's not looking too healthy either. So yeah, we'll pop that off now, and then I'm gonna put the flappy disc on the grinder, and we'll just go around and clean all of this up. Hopefully we won't find any more holes. You can see the hole up here is pretty bad, and it's not that far from the suspension, so I really desperately need to sort that out. But what I'm gonna do is we'll just clean this all up, and chip guard it while I can get to everything without all the suspension components being in the way, so we can like get up in the strut tower and everything properly. We'll chip guard it. I'm going to chip guard up here as well, but yeah, when once everything's back together, I'll take it up to work and we'll cut this bit out and weld a new piece back in. But yeah, let's just get it all cleaned up and ready to go. What I'll probably do is I'll clean it up now and leave it overnight, and I'll come back down and spray it tomorrow, because you can see in the corner it's still a little damp in a few areas, so I just leave it to dry overnight until it's properly dry, because I don't want to seal any of the moisture in the car underneath the chip guard. So this is not going very well whatsoever. So I started grinding away at all the rust, as you can see, and obviously we knew about this hole up here already, but then it went through here, and then it got worse, because I actually saw somebody post about this on the group just before, and I was like, oh, mine's not that bad there, to be honest, at least it's not that bad there. But then once I started grinding at it, oh man, it was. So yeah, that is the anti-roll bar mount here, so you can see the anti-roll bar mounts up here, and that's the chassis leg, and it is just absolutely dog rotten. Oh man, look at that. Like literally to the point it's not even safe to drive. Jesus. Yeah. The good thing about that bit is it's quite easy to repair, but I think my right through the other end. Balls. Yeah, that could well be the end of the Mazda. Yeah, oh Jesus. Oh man. Oh, no. It's got like a big hole right through the whole car.
Alright, did you put it in there?
No, it's just rotted. But
you haven't seen it?
No, I've not seen it till now. Right, I'm going home. I'll leave it at that and decide what I want to do with the car, I think. I've got to decide whether it's going to be worth saving, so yeah. So yeah, I'm calling it a day. I'm going home. I'm just gonna have to decide what I want to do with the car, because to be honest, the way it is, I think I haven't really looked at the other side. I can't be bothered, but I think it's probably going to be the same from what it looks like from inside the engine bay. So yeah, I really need to just decide what I want to do with the car, if I'm going to bother saving it, or if I should find another shell, or if I should just cut my losses and find something different. But yeah, kind of a bit of a bummer. I wasn't expecting that, because I do actually really like this car, but there comes a point where it's like it's you got to decide whether it's actually worth fixing it. So Yeah, call it a day. Yeah, and I'll catch you in the next video, which will probably be me telling you what I've decided. So yeah, peace out. Thanks for watching.